and be productive.
Many reports on the employment effect of the COVID-19 pandemic have focused on the possibility of layoffs and also the financial consequences for employees. However, there has been less discussion on what happens to those workers who are not officially laid off and have to keep being at work. These, for example, the domestic workers and helps in the home. They have the task of taking care of the more vulnerable people to coronavirus, which are children and the elderly. How enlightened are these set of workers, and what should be done by employees to take necessary precautions? Joining us now is Chinenye Ogbonnaya-Ikegwu. She's the CEO, Coral Executive Agency, to speak more on this. Thank you for speaking to us. I want to start by asking, how enlightened are the domestic helps in Africa pertaining to COVID-19?
Thank you for having me. There's a mix of those who are enlightened and those who are not enlightened. A lot of them get their advice from the wrong places. Peers end up advising them to bait with the wrong things, eat the wrong things and all that. And these things might end up harming them. So it's important that employers use all avenues to sit these workers down, explain to them in pidgin English, in any language, local language that they can understand, what is actually going on and how they can better protect themselves, the kids they work with, the seniors they work with, and the entire household. Domestic workers are actually the soldiers in our homes in a time like this. They clean, disinfect, and protect the entire household from COVID-19 and other diseases. If you're an employer of a domestic worker, I would advise that person to please help your domestic worker understand what is going on. If they come from the house every day, that is leave our domestic workers, please let them stop for now. You can pay them something, please pay them off, or you can just pay them something to sit back at home for this period, because they use public transportation to get to your location every day. They might end up bringing in germs and other infections into your homes in a time like this. So it's better if you leave them, let them stay back in their houses and let the government sort the situation out. If you employ those who are living in as living workers, help them understand what is going on, provide all the needed tools for them to sanitize your home, clean your home, provide alcohol sanitizers and every other thing they might need, bleach, whatever they need to keep your home safe. Let them also understand what is important in them, social distancing themselves away from their co-workers. If you live like in an apartment where there are like 4, 5, 10 flats, and your nannies or your domestic workers meet up, they meet somewhere in the house, and they meet themselves. That means the whole block of flats are social distancing together. So if you have like 20 families living in a flat or a place, that means everybody is meeting up with each other. So they need to understand what social distancing actually entails. You stay away from each other. So please, it's important that we explain to them this is what it entails, this is what happens. If we need to use graphics or whatever they will understand, let us explain to them. When children come in from playing, disinfect their toys, disinfect this, disinfect that, doorknobs, handles, remote control, keyboard, toilet, faucet, all the areas in the house. Wash these children's hands regularly. Let them understand the importance of hand washing. Wash leather up, wash for 20 seconds. Sing the happy birthday song. Everybody should come down to their level and explain these things to them. They are actually at the forefront of protecting your home in a time like this.
Yeah, and you also mentioned about, these workers coming together, gathering together and all, but how can they actually practice this social distancing?
No, I don't mean they should come together. What I'm saying is this. Because their households, their apartment buildings where they have lots of domestic workers there, sometimes you might be social distancing in your house. You might be staying upstairs in your room without knowing that your nanny or your chef is at the back of the house, behind the house with the chefs or the nannies of other workers and gisting away or something. You understand? That is not actually social distancing yourself from other households, which means they will meet with those people and then they come back inside your own flat or your own house, and then they will bring in whatever is out there. Everybody should understand that they should keep away from each other. practices like this should be discouraged. That's what I mean.
Yes, and also for the employers, how can they practice social distancing with the domestic workers?
Most, like I said, it depends on which worker they're employing. If they're employing leave-out workers who come in the morning and close in the evening, they should kindly pay them, let them stop for now. If you're working with workers who are leaving workers, which means they live in the house with you, what you can do is provide them with protective gloves, protective clothing inside the house, gloves and things like that. Let them clean, sanitize, make use of bleach inside the house. At least a good bleach, a good quality bleach of at least a minimum of 5.25 sodium hypochlorite should be able to work well. Don't use watered down bleach or bleach that will not be able to get the work done. No. But we need to protect the whole house. And most domestic workers are those that are doing this currently in homes now. So it's important we enlighten them as well.
All right, and a lot of sanitization is needed at this point in time. And you mentioned, you mentioned bleaches. Are there any other, useful materials and disinfectants that you could recommend?
At a time like this, it's mostly bleaches. They should make sure they have hand sanitizers, minimum of 70% alcohol, based upwards. But most importantly, sanitize, clean everywhere. The remote, the toys, the kids, the toys used. Every house, wherever there's a high traffic movement, clean, sanitize, seat, clothes, everything. If most times I know it's really hard for us to social distance, especially when there's need to go and get something, maybe just something we need to buy outside and come in. In situations like that, I know it's difficult, but I would advise the employers themselves. They are more enlightened. They will know how to avoid people on the street. A lot of the domestic workers in Nigeria and Africa in general are not that enlightened. They might go out and start talking with their friends and touching someone, no matter what you tell them. I know it's hard, but it's better for you, who is the employer, you step out, you know how you go pick up that single salt and run back into the house. We really need to go out of our way to make sure that this virus is stopped. And it starts from our home, which is the most important place.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Chinenye Ogbonnaya-Ikegwu, the CEO
Thank you for having me.
Coral Executive Agency. Well, Kenya.